Alright, we're taking a look at the latest Donkey Kong Bananza overview trailer. Nintendo has posted this about 5 hours ago. We are going to just take a look at this from a game development standpoint. I think this is very interesting. This is the first trailer where they really focus on the story, and I think this shot's kind of neat. That sort of we get to see the default look for Donkey Kong that we're kind of accustomed, and we get to hear about how Pauline is um, trying to make her way to the surface. That was fun. Perhaps there's some sort of quick time event where the singing wasn't done correctly. Both the characters looked upset. Now, something about this is it's looking better and better. Earlier, previously, weeks and months ago, we saw the game in development, and it's looking better and better. I like the lens flare effects here. This sort of thick atmospheric haze. These characters apparently are all underground and they're trying to make their way to the surface. This is the first situation where we kind of see pop in, where you can see the foliage pop in and out as the camera gets closer or farther. That's the first time I've really noticed that in a trailer. I don't know if we'll see it again in this environment, but that's the first time we did see it. I'm just noticing now the impact frames when DK hits the ground. We sort of get impact frames where time sort of just pauses for a brief moment. It's sort of what we see in fighting games like Street Fighter, Smash Bros, where characters an attack impacts another character, and it just seems to slow down or pause for just a moment in the animation. It gives the attack a sense of power and impact, and I have just noticed that now, and it's really interesting. So some of this footage we've seen from the direct. Some of this is newer. That's interesting, sort of building a rainbow road by punching an enemy in the face. We got a cube watermelon chest there. I certainly hope the singing vocals are well done, and I hope they don't get annoying if you have to hear a lot of sort of little kid singing vocals from Pauline. Hopefully that voice acting is good here. We see some transformations from Donkey Kong, and I personally don't like having the time meter just there. I would prefer to have it somewhere else. It's just a little bit distracting for me, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. This, to me, gives me existential dread, a little bit of eldritch horror, as he's still a bipedal creature, which means he's, walking on two legs, but now his hands have turned into hooves, and he no longer has fingers or hands. That's kind of upsetting. So it's nice to have that sort of dread. It kind of grosses me out a little bit. This has feathers on his arms, which for wings, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have your fingers and hands and then have the feathers on there. The feathers are supposed to be your fingers, your hands. That's how birds work. So I don't know why the zebra doesn't get fingers. I think the zebra should have fingers. It's kind of upsetting without it. But that's just it's not an actual complaint. It's just something I think is fun and kind of gross. And I do like the physics simulation on the tie and the pants there as he's shaking. It's very expressive. The clothes have physics simulation, and they just use a programmatic approach to simulate a sense of movement and momentum with the clothing. It's something we've seen, for decades now, but it's so lively here, and I really like to see that. We see the bruiser. We see details about the villains as they try to make their way to the core of the Earth. We don't exactly understand what they want from there. Now, I'm not sure what components were falling off the enemy just then as DK was hitting the enemy, and components were falling off. So we want to obtain Banandium gems. I do like that the objectives are clear. We get these. I think these are optional challenge missions that you can take on. Those seem like a lot of fun. This may be the same or similar video that we've seen for that side-scrolling barrel jumping action. He sure has banana dreadlocks. That's certainly a look. We have a look at the skill tree here. We can have a look at different abilities that the players can upgrade. That looks so cool, being able to surf like that. This feels like they sort of thought of mobility options first, This game seems very much about mobility. The trailer does explain that your equipment has effects on your character performance, which I think is fantastic. I really like that. I really like that the equipment affects your in-game performance. It's got skills attached, so those can be, it seems they can be leveled up and improved. This is the first time we get more details regarding the voice. It looks like you can do a Kevin Levin and you can copy the material of your environment, and then whatever you shout will be the material of your environment. And personally, if I were Kevin 11, I think I would just carry around a little bit of titanium or something very powerful, and I just keep that in my pocket. If I needed to be titanium, I just grab onto that rather than being subject to the material of the environment, which can be often unpredictable. The game share allows players to play the game together, or you can play on the same console with the Joy-Con. I wonder if they'll let you use old Joy-Con on this as well. And this is great. This is an assist mode, which basically is easy mode without calling it easy mode. And if you have, younger players who are struggling with the challenge of this kind of game, then you can use assist mode for those players to make the games just more enjoyable and more chill and relaxed. This is neat. We get some details here. We see the paintbrush tool. We did not see that much of this before. This is really neat. You see on the left side, you see the icons that indicate the buttons. This is fun. You get to add, looks like decorations and other accents to it. Look, flames, sparkles. This is very fun. I think people will be spending a lot of time playing with the painting, and it's basically free advertising because people will be posting pictures of their creations online, and people will say, hey, what game is that? Oh, I made this in the new Donkey Kong. They're falling an awfully long way. I certainly hope there's something soft for them to land on. That looked like a hard landing to me. Your ankles are going to be sore in the morning, I'll tell you that. So I'm trying to take a look at the lighting here. The sort of sense of atmosphere and lighting seems to be being improved more and more as we see more of the game through new trailers, and I'm trying to understand it. We see a heavy use of particle effects, which gives a sense of depth. And by particle effects, they have dust, sparkles, ashes, things that are just flying around the atmosphere. It's just gives a sense of depth and it makes it interesting. Donkey Kong's voice is a little weird to me. I'm not going to complain. It's not my personal favorite. It kind of sounds like he's constipated and he's grunting, and it's odd. But I suppose that's the new. I personally am accustomed to the old Donkey Kong sound. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at that and spending some time with me. Thanks very much for watching the video. I think we've had enough time sitting indoors and looking at screens. So let's go out and party a little bit. There is a dive bar down the street that's doing bingo and karaoke. So let's go and just hang out and party for a little bit.
I got a bad card.
Okay, what are you making? A German chocolate cake?
Yes, it's a German chocolate cake shop.
My mom wanted me to take her into Oakdale.